a trucker can gross $180,000 a year. That's true. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why most truckers making that number take home less than a school teacher. And I'm going to walk you through the actual math, line by line. So next time you see a $180K trucking job ad, you'll know exactly what to check before you believe it. This is the economics of trucking, the real numbers, not the recruitment poster.
Before we touch a single number, we need to split truck driver into two completely different businesses because the economics are night and day. Company driver. You drive someone else's truck. You get a paycheck, usually per mile, sometimes hourly or salaried. The company owns the truck, pays for fuel, insurance, maintenance, permits. You drive, you go home, financially speaking, with a W-2. Owner-operator. You either own your truck or you're financing one, and you're running a small trucking company. Whether you drive under your own authority or lease onto a bigger carrier, every expense, fuel, insurance, repairs, tires, the loan payment, comes out of revenue before you see a dime. Company driving is a job. Owner-operating is a business. That distinction is the single biggest reason trucking income numbers online are so wildly inconsistent. People are comparing a paycheck to a profit and loss statement.
A company driver in the U.S. typically earns somewhere between $55,000 and $75,000 a year. Experienced drivers hauling specialized freight, tankers, oversized loads, hazmat, can push past $90,000. Pay is usually structured per mile, commonly 45 to 65 cents, plus bonuses for safety, on-time delivery, or fuel efficiency. The appeal is predictability. Health insurance, often a 401k match, no exposure to fuel spikes, no truck payment, transmission blows up on I-80 in a snowstorm, that's the company's problem. The trade-off is a lower ceiling. You're trading upside for stability, and in a booming freight market, company drivers watch owner-operators pull in double what they make while collecting the same steady check regardless of what freight rates are doing.
This is where the misleading numbers live. An owner-operator might gross $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Let's run the real cost structure because this business has brutal fixed and variable costs. Fuel, usually 20 to 25% of gross revenue. A truck averaging 6 to 7 miles per gallon, running 100,000 plus miles a year, burns through an enormous amount of diesel, and diesel prices move with global oil markets, not with your schedule. Truck payment, a new or late model semi runs $150,000 to $180,000. Financed, that's often $2,000 to $2,500 a month before a single load moves. Insurance, commercial trucking insurance often runs $10,000 to $15,000 a year because the liability exposure on an 80,000-pound vehicle is enormous. Maintenance and repairs, tires alone can run over $500 each, and a truck needs several. Add oil changes, brake jobs, and one major repair, and this can easily hit $15,000 to $20,000 a year. Then add permits, tolls, ELD subscriptions, dispatch or factoring fees, and self-employment tax, since you're now paying both the employer and employee side of Social Security and Medicare, roughly 15.3% right off the top of net earnings. Add it up, and total operating costs commonly land at 60 to 75% of gross revenue. That $180,000 gross often nets out to real take-home profit of $50,000 to $80,000, before accounting for a bad month where one transmission repair wipes out 6 weeks of profit in a single shop invoice.
Let's make this concrete. Picture an owner-operator grossing $15,000 in a month. Solid, not exceptional. Fuel, roughly $3,300. Truck payment, $2,200. Insurance, $1,000. Maintenance reserve, $1,200. Tolls, permits, ELD, factoring fees, $600. Self-employment tax set aside, about $1,600. Total costs, roughly $9,900. That leaves about $5,100 before this driver has paid themselves a personal salary, before health insurance, before retirement savings, before a single dollar goes toward anything outside the business. Now compare that to a company driver earning $65,000 a year. That's roughly $5,400 a month, gross, with health insurance and no repair bills attached. Suddenly, the 180K trucker and the 65K trucker are landing in a very similar place month to month, except one of them is carrying all the risk.
Here's what makes this genuinely volatile. Freight rates aren't stable. They move with consumer spending, manufacturing output, even how much e-commerce is being shipped in a given quarter. In 2021 and into 2022, freight rates spiked as supply chains strained and shipping demand surged. Owner-operators posted incredible numbers. Then in 2023 and 2024, rates dropped hard as freight capacity caught up and demand cooled. And drivers who'd financed trucks near the top of the market found themselves stuck with fixed payments
payments and falling revenue per mile. Company drivers don't carry that risk. Their paycheck barely moves whether freight is booming or crashing. Owner-operators are, in effect, small business owners, exposed to a commodity market they don't control.
It depends entirely on what you're optimizing for. If you want predictable income, benefits, and zero exposure to fuel prices or freight cycles, company driving is the more rational choice for most people. If you're financially disciplined, tracking every expense, building a cash reserve for repairs, timing a truck purchase around the freight cycle instead of buying at the top, owner-operating has a real ceiling that company driving doesn't. The drivers who actually build wealth in this industry tend to start as company drivers, save aggressively, and only move into ownership once they can survive a bad 6 months in cash. Not the ones who finance a truck on day one chasing the biggest gross number they saw on a forum.
Trucking is one of the clearest examples in the entire economy of why gross revenue is a vanity number, and net profit is the only number that actually matters. If this changed how you look at that 180K trucker claim, subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down the real math behind another job that gets the same misleading treatment online, and it's going to change how you read every high-income job video on this platform. See you in the next one.